Hello and welcome to the news on NTA International. I am Lydia Odidiochi. We thank you for joining us. Let's take a look at the highlights. Security agents repel attacks on schools in Kaduna State. Food and Agriculture Organization and Cross River State Government launched Global Environment Fund, Food System, Land Use, Restoration and Impact Program. President Idris Deby of Chad flags off campaign for 6th term in office. And now the details. Two separate bandits' attacks on schools have been repelled by security agents in Ikara and Igabi local government areas of Kaduna State. Achari Maxwell reports that the Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Aruwan, disclosed this at a media parley in Kaduna.
Government Science Secondary School Ikara was the latest bandits' target where, according to the Commissioner, security agents' superior firepower put them on the run, with many of them injured. Aruwan said no student is missing as a result of the attack.
Fortunately, the students utilized the security warning system in place and were thus able to alert security forces in the area. The security forces, comprising the troops of the Nigerian Army, police, and some security volunteers, moved swiftly to the school and engaged the bandits, forcing them to flee. The military and police are still on the trail of the armed bandits. Following a head count by the school management, Kaduna State Government can confirm to you that all 307 students have been verified safe and present.
The other repelled attack was at the staff quarters at Ifere, Igabi local government area.
Around Ifira village in Igabi local government area, bandits attempted to attack a senior staff quarters around the Kaduna Airport General area. This attempt was also foiled as troops of the Nigerian Air Force and the Nigerian Army engaged and repelled them, with several escaping with gunshot wounds.
Samuel Aruwan reiterated that Kaduna State Government is fully committed to securing the freedom of students abducted at the College of Forestry Mechanization, Afaka, in Kaduna. Achari Maxwell, NTA News.
Still on security, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Ibrahim Atahiru, has reaffirmed that ending Boko Haram insurgency in the northeast is a task that must be accomplished in no distant future for lasting peace to flourish in the region. The Army Chief gave the assurance while on a maiden operational visit to the headquarters of Sector 2 Operation Lafia Dole in Damaturu, Yobe State.
His appointment as Nigeria's 21st Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Ibrahim Atahiru, has been touring army units and formations within Northeast Theatre of Operations to boost the morale of the gallant troops as the war against Boko Haram intensifies. The maiden operational visit to the headquarters of Sector 2 Operation Lafia Dole in Damaturu, Yobe State by the Army Chief is no exception. While addressing troops under the sector, Lieutenant General Atahiru says he is in the formation to ensure that their morale is at highest level, as well as identify all operational challenges with a view to addressing them.
The purpose of this visit essentially is an operational visit, which commenced with the theatre headquarters and indeed all the sectors in Operation Lafia Dole. The essence is to get to meet the soldiers, and they get to know us, we get to know them as well. If there are challenges in the course of their conducting operations, we will try our level best to ensure we solve those problems and ensure morale is at the highest level as we go to confront Boko Haram and the entire insurgency. In the final end, to bring the insurgency to an end.
Accompanied by the Theatre Commander Operation Lafia Dole, Major General Farouk Yahya, and other senior military officers, the Army Chief also charges the troops to push the adversaries harder and bring to an end activities of insurgents in the northeast. In Damaturu, Yunusa Suleiman, NTA News.
Troops of the Nigerian army have been commended for their gallantry in recovering Boko Haram weapons system. Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Ibrahim Attahiru made the commendation while inspecting recovered arms at the premises of 7th Division Nigerian Army Mai Malari Cantonment, Maiduguri. Memuna Garba reports.
The one-week operational visit by the Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Ibrahim Attahiru is to enhance the ongoing counter-insurgency operations and boost morale of troops to achieve better results. The Chief of Army Staff has inspected different caliber of weapons recovered by troops from Boko Haram terrorists to include AK-47, sniper and FN rifles, as well as HK-21 gun and GPMG, among others.
Destroy the camps. These are some of the things we have been able to recover. All the weapon systems we are seeing here. These are just very few of the weapon system we've recovered, and we'll continue to do that.
Lieutenant General Attahiru later held a closed-door meeting with the General Officer commanding 7th Division and unit commanders who briefed him on the ongoing operations within their areas of responsibilities. The Chief of Army Staff has inspected ongoing and completed projects within the cantonment. In Maiduguri, Maimuna Garba, NTA News.
Away from security now, all is now set for the kickoff of this year's Technology and Innovation Expo scheduled to begin on Monday, the 15th of March at the Eagle Square in Abuja. Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Ogbonnaya Onu, who confirmed this after a facility tour of the venue for the expo, says Vice President Yemi Osinbajo will represent the President to flag off the event. Justin Bemuni has the details.
Eagle Square, Abuja, venue for the 2021 Science, Technology and Innovation Expo, now wears a new face. Exhibition stands and marquees, among other constructions, are now visibly almost ready, being the platform to bring together researchers, inventors, innovators and investors. Minister of Science and Technology was at the venue to ascertain the level of readiness and notes that the convergence of these actors will be with the main aim of converting ideas into products and services, and that the expo is a major instrument for the commercialization of research findings into products that are needed at home and abroad.
This expo is critical in not just helping us to commercialize our research and innovation findings, but to help us in the fight against poverty, creating jobs, creating wealth, and making sure that Nigeria becomes a self-reliant nation. It's also important to mention that a Technology and Innovation Expo is not a trade fair. It's not a place you come, for the purpose, the sole purpose of buying and selling. No. This is a platform that showcases ideas.
The planning of the expo is said to have taken into consideration strict observance of COVID-19 protocols, and the authorities have assured of security and safety measures.
With what you have on ground, we have completed 90%. What we need to do is basically energize the air conditioning system, power the generators, do some element of sanitization, freshen the booths.
This will be the 5th edition of the Technology and Innovation Expo in the series, and the Vice President Yemi Osinbajo will be representing the President to flag off the 5-day event. In Abuja, Justin Bemuni, NTA News.
A compendium of implemented key public service initiatives under President Muhammadu Buhari's administration between 2018 and 2020 have been validated. This was at a validation workshop by the Bureau of Public Service Reforms in Abuja. Adebola Brooklyn Sunday was there.
Investigations show that many ministries, departments and agencies of government have failed to furnish the Bureau of Public Service Reform with their achievements through the self-assessment tool. Director General of the Bureau, Ibrahim Dasuki Arabi, said the compendium is used to identify areas of strengths and weaknesses and provide instructive lessons and guidance on where future reform should be focused.
We have over the time tried to see how we can transform the DNA of the Nigerian public service, with the hope that by the year 2025, we are going to have a public service that will be among the first 20 in the world.
Human capital development, poverty alleviation, public finance management and economic growth are some of the areas of focus.
Honestly, in terms of what we have seen on the field and in reality of what we have seen in this study, the government has scored more than 97%. A whole lot of activity, and you know the largest room in the world is the room for improvement, and that is why we are reporting this so that we can see the areas moving forward. What are the areas of improvement?
MDAs yet to submit their achievements were urged to do so to enable all reform initiatives be captured. Adebola, Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
United States Agency for International Development, USAID, has appealed for collaboration with states' governments to enable effective delivery of its programs in Nigeria. Deputy Chief of the agency, John Onyeoku, says USAID is executing 5-year development projects in 6 states. Charity James completes the story.
Delegation of U.S. Agency for International Development on arrival were received by members of Akwa Ibom State Executive Council. Leader of the delegation and deputy chief of the party said they are in Akwa Ibom State to intimate the state government on the state-to-state project of the agency. He noted that the project is a 5-year project operating in 6 states, including Akwa Ibom, aimed at increasing accountability, transparency, and effectiveness of selected states and local governments in Nigeria, as well as support to states to improve delivery of public services.
The focus is on public finance management. Well, the sectors that we are focusing on are basic education, primary health care, and water and sanitation and hygiene. It has a number of components. The first component is that we support states to improve the delivery of services in those sectors, and then we also help states to identify areas that they need to work on.
The state governor, represented by the deputy governor Moses Ekpo, appreciated them for the choice of Akwa Ibom State as one of the benefiting states. He also pledged the state government support to enable the success of the project for the benefit of the people.
Your program is not to come and act, but we want to a program that will collaborate and enable the state and your good self, your expertise, get together, design a project, a program that will work in the interest of the people generally.
The 6 states to benefit from the U.S. Agency for International Development's state-to-state project are Akwa Ibom, Adamawa, Bauchi, Ebonyi, Gombe, and Sokoto states. In Uyo, Charity James, NTA News.
You are watching the news on NTA International. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us.
Latest entrant, latest technology. Welcome to Entel 4G LTE Advanced and experience super fast internet access today. Visit entel.com.ng or any of our stores in Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt to get started. Entel. Live more.
Welcome back. To support Nigeria's economic diversification agenda, Food and Agriculture Organization, in collaboration with the Cross River State Government, has launched the Global Environment Fund Food System, Land Use Restoration and Impact Program in the state. This was during a validation workshop of the program in Calabar. Maureen Leo Ajom reports.
With the aim of promoting integrated landscape management and sustainable food system, the Food and Agriculture Organization is leveraging on the value chain in the agro-industrial programs of the Cross River State Government with a focus on cocoa and oil palm.
Our work here is largely to provide the support that the government needs, whether it's in developing policies or strategies or programs, but more importantly, in implementing those policies.
With the program, the state government feels it is achieving its diversification drive to decouple the state from overdependency on federal government's allocation.
They have chosen to partner with the state in two areas, the areas of oil palm cultivation and cocoa cultivation, which will also help to kind of sustain this scheme in Cross River State.
Stakeholders laud the components of the program and make inputs in areas of necessary intervention.
The Cross River State government should give them an enabling ground, because the country is a stage where government can no longer foot our bills, so we have to fall back, do things differently.
We need programs such as this to help us to be able to combat climate change activities.
Global Environment Facility was established to tackle one of the planet's most pressing environmental problems, support projects related to biodiversity, climate change, land degradation, sustainable forest management, food security, and provide grants to farmers. Cross River and Ondo states are the two states chosen for the program in Nigeria. In Calabar, Maureen Leo Ajom, NTA News.
Now to COVID-19 issues. Governor Bala Mohammed of Bauchi State has described the ongoing COVID-19 vaccination exercise as a hope for a safe Nigeria that is free of coronavirus. The governor made the assertion after receiving a jab of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine in Bauchi. Mahmoud Ibn Mohammed reports.
That's the Kaura of Bauchi.
That was Governor Bala Mohammed receiving the first jab of the Oxford AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine in Bauchi State.
That having been vaccinated, it doesn't mean that we should stop wearing masks. We should stop sanitizing ourselves. Because you can see, even the WHO said, in some instances, AstraZeneca is 65% to 90%. So the element of the percentage that is not covered can come back to us.
Having concluded arrangement for wider coverage, the vaccines are now available at 323 primary healthcare centers and 18 general hospitals across Bauchi State.
80,570 doses represents the first dose of the vaccine. The AstraZeneca vaccine is administered in 2 doses. After the first dose is administered, a second dose is also administered within 2 to 3 weeks of the first administration.
The team of the vaccinators, as well as the immunization and other logistics officers in the state, they are ready, they are well trained for this exercise. For the last 2 weeks, they have been preparing and they are trained.
In Nigeria, NAFDAC, as the lead regulatory agency, has provided technical guidance and rigorous scientific standards to guarantee the vaccine safety.
Targeting 1% of the entire Bauchi State population, the first phase will focus on frontline workers and senior citizens. In Bauchi, Mahmoud Ibn Mohammed, NTA News.
Meanwhile, vaccination in the United States is on the verge of big changes, with manufacturers pledging larger supplies of the existing 2-dose coronavirus vaccines and 1 single dose recently approved. Details of this and more with Obiageli Goke.
Larger supply of coronavirus vaccine expected to arrive in April in the United States is raising hopes of more normal life returning by summer. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says about 68.9 million people have so far received at least 1 dose of a COVID-19 vaccine, including about 36.9 million people who were fully vaccinated by Johnson & Johnson's single-dose vaccine or the 2-dose series made by Pfizer, BioNTech, and Moderna. A total of 435.8 million doses have been distributed. Distribution of the vaccine comes as more than 532,000 people in the United States have died after contracting the virus. Still on COVID-19 vaccination, the use of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine has been suspended in the Republic of Ireland. The National Immunization Advisory Committee recommended the move following the reports of serious blood clots in events in adults in Norway. In a tweet, the Irish Minister for Health, Stephen Donnelly, said it was a precautionary step. The World Health Organization has, however, said there is no link between the jab and an increased risk of developing a clot. Meanwhile, records from Worldometer show the global confirmed cases tally has surpassed 120 million, with Nigeria accounting for 160,537 positive cases, having reported 205 new cases on Saturday. In other news, President Idris Deby has kicked off his campaign for a sixth term, calling for unity after rival protests were banned and broken up. Deby, who has ruled for 30 years, said he has fought for national unity and is determined to contest and win the forthcoming general election. 3 opposition candidates quit the race ahead of the April 11 ballot, with one of them, Mahmoud Yoksko Ibrahim, saying the climate was not favorable for fair and transparent presidential elections. Their withdrawal lists have a dozen candidates, including Deby, who has ruled the country since 1990. The UN Security Council has urged countries with troops and mercenaries in Libya to withdraw them as demanded in the ceasefire agreement between the country's warring parties. The council called on all Libyan parties to ensure a smooth handover to the interim government of Prime Minister Abdul Hamid. The October ceasefire agreement called for the withdrawal of all foreign forces and mercenaries in 3 months and adherence to an U.S. arms embargo provision, which have not been met. That does it on Global Updates. Thank you for your time. I'm Obiageli Okuke.
Many thanks, Obiageli. Governments and businesses must share doses and technology so supply and distribution of COVID-19 vaccines goes further and faster. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres said this when launching a new United Nations public advocacy campaign, Only Together, which calls for COVID-19 vaccines to be available to everyone, everywhere.
The period of crisis has caused a tidal wave of suffering. The virus has killed more than 2.5 million people and left millions more with debilitating long-term health effects. Scientists worked wonders developing safe and effective vaccines in record time. We now have the tool to stop COVID-19 in its tracks. But so far, a small number of rich countries are rolling out a majority of the doses. COVID-19 vaccines must be considered a global public good. COVAX, the Global Vaccine Initiative, is our best way to do just that. So let's make it happen. Only together can we protect healthcare workers and the world's most vulnerable people. Only together can we revive our economies. Only together can we end this pandemic and recover. And then, together, we can all get back to the things we love.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has expressed the ability of Nigerians in surmounting the challenges the nation faces, urging leaders not to lose focus but to stay on track in providing good service to the people. This was when the Vice President joined the people of Imo State in an interdenominational Thanksgiving service to mark the first anniversary of Governor Hope Uzodima's administration. We'll bring you that report in our subsequent bulletin. President Muhammadu Buhari warmly felicitates with Reverend Felix Omobude, former National President, Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, on his 75th birthday, joining family and friends to celebrate with the servant of God, who has spent more than 40 years preaching and teaching the gospel. The President congratulates the General Superintendent of Gospel Light International Ministries for his service to the country and humanity. He notes with satisfaction the investments of the visionary leader and his ministry in the educational sector, which he believes will drive national development. In a statement by Femi Adesina, the President prays for good health and strength for the former president of the PFN. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari extends heartfelt condolences to the Nwodo family on the passing of their patriarch, Dr. Joe Nwodo. The president joins the government and people of Enugu State in mourning the loss of a truly remarkable Nigerian and one of the strongest voices on unity and diversity. He acknowledges that Dr. Nwodo played a crucial role in shaping the political landscape of the country in the 90s, and in the murky waters of politics, he clearly understood what it means to bring people together and inspire them to give their best. President Buhari prays for the repose of the soul of the deceased and comfort for family members, including former Governor Okwesilieze Nwodo of Enugu State and all who admired his disposition to cooperation, reconciliation, and justice as integral parts of nation building. The Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Ibrahim Tanko Mohammed, along with 18 justices of the Supreme Court, have paid a condolence visit to the family of the late Justice Sylvester Nwali Nguta, who died recently. They were received by Justice Nguta's cousin, Chief Nwali, his brother Stephen Nguta, and his daughter Chidera Nguta. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the CJN on Media, Yusuf Issa, said, "The CJN described the late jurist as highly dedicated to his duty and would definitely be missed by many. He prayed God to continue to protect and provide for the family he left behind." Next is weather update.